Hey friend, Roger Christopherson here again with another first listen review. This is one that I'm actually pretty excited about. I didn't get to it earlier because there's a lot to listen to here, but before we get into all that, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive, because what we do here is we talk about bands that we love, usually ones that have been around a little while, what they're up to now, and we chit-chat. I do a lot of babbling, people comment, it's kind of cool. If you're into that, Flemmy, good way to start the day. If you're into that, cool. If you're not, sorry, but that's what we do here. Really not that sorry about it because I love doing this stuff. So anyway, that all aside, what I'm talking about is the Power Station. This is one of those bands that's kind of strange for me, so I tend to tell a little story sometimes. That's what I'm going to do here, to let you know like my kind of history with the Power Station. Funny thing is, growing up, like I was into like really odd types of music, old stuff that was like way older than me. And I was into like the hair metal and all that stuff growing up. My sister, who was a couple years younger than me, was really into Duran Duran, and we used to butt heads a lot, just for no reason at all. So I was not allowed to like Duran Duran, basically because it's my sister, and she was not allowed to like stuff, you know. This is the sibling thing. And I actually broke her of that when I took her to a Def Leppard concert, and then she started liking. I remember having a Def Leppard and a Motley Crue poster go up on her wall along next to the Duran Duran poster. So I think I feel like as though I won. But that aside, I remember like every now and then, like when she wasn't at home, I'd sneak in her room and like steal her Duran Duran stuff and kind of listen to it. And I actually kind of liked it. And when it comes to the Power Station, in case anybody doesn't know, it's a couple of guys, Andy Taylor and John Taylor from, you know, Duran Duran, the rhythm section, well, actually guitar and bass in this. I remember watching, I didn't know anything about this band, but I remember I used to watch Saturday Night Live all the time. And they popped up on Saturday Night Live and did one killer performance. They did Something Like a Hot and Get It On. And I was like mind boggled. I instantly recognized who they were because I'd seen the videos a million times. And didn't know what it was or anything. So of course I had to figure it out. And ended up getting the album. And, you know, it's kind of just funny how that all works around. No, it's a little short story there, but that's kind of how I found them. And I just remember watching that live performance just being just mind-boggled. So when I saw this was coming back out, I'm like, oh, cool, they got some live stuff on here. And the Live Aid thing, I remember actually watching the Live Aid performance live when it was happening, too. But, yeah, so to get the first, you know, get the album on the first disc, and it's the whole thing again. Listening back to this again, it was actually quite interesting because I hadn't listened to this album in a very, very long time. But I remember when I first got it, you know, they had Some Like It Hot and Get It On with the singles. Those were the first two things I heard. The rest of the album does not sound like those songs at all. So when I remember being a little disappointed when I first got this thing. I was pretty young, teens, you know, whatever. And I didn't really care for some of the extra songs. So anyway, so listening back to it again, I was like, all right, let's see if things have changed. So somewhat has changed, somewhat hasn't changed. Murderous, I always liked that song. A couple ones that I didn't care for back then, Lonely Tonight, Communication, like Still in Your Heart. Those are just ones that didn't strike me very good, like way back in the day. Listening back again, they didn't turn me off as much as they did back then, but still not like massive like ones I want to go out and like, listen to over and over. But the funny thing is, but I did really enjoy listening to it again. I did really enjoy that. It was fun. I hadn't listened to this in a very, very long time. So when you get to CD2, you get like raw instrumental tracks, and it was funny because it kicks off with Something Like It Hot, and kind of just, it doesn't really go in order of the album, which I thought was a little odd, but you don't get all of them. They left like one off there. But anyway, the raw instrumental tracks, some of the parts were left off. There's some solos missing here and there, but the majority of it's all there. And they had some like background vocals added in too, so it wasn't like complete instrumental. But the point I was trying to get to is the songs like Lonely Tonight and Communication that I didn't really care for that much. They actually didn't do Still in Your Heart, it looks like. I knew there was one that was not on here. Those ones, I actually really enjoyed listening to the instrumental tracks, and it has nothing against Robert Palmer at all. I mean, I actually really like Robert Palmer, but for some reason, just those songs, the instrumentally, this stuck out to me more, and all the songs actually. It was just fun listening to, and I really found myself really concentrating on guitar and bass a lot more when I was listening to that, because you don't have to concentrate on the drums and vocals because they're really up front in the mix. I mean, Tony Thompson's an amazing drummer. He's got a super unique style, and it just really stands out in all of this. And then you get to all these single edits and the mega mixes and all that stuff of all these extra songs. I thought it was really strange. They have Get It On, the raw instrumental, and Communication, the night version, and then there's a night version edit later on after that. But then you got Get It On, Bang a Gong, single edit immediately again right after that. And I was like, they could have adjusted that a little bit, you think, so you didn't get it on that many times in a row. I mean, I'm really nitpicking here, but still, somebody had to be in charge of putting this stuff in order. I mean, there was decisions made. You think they could have spread those out a little bit more? I don't know why they didn't do that, but it was fun listening to the mega mixes and the whatever. Quite honestly, I didn't notice any huge differences in there at all. Maybe the drums being even more up front and the vocals maybe pulled up even a little bit more, which is crazy to me because I didn't really think they needed that at all. But very percussive sounding album. I mean, it's a really percussive sounding album because Tony Thompson is just really super tight. His style of playing is just, man, this makes you want to play air drums. It really does. I was actually driving around listening to this in my car. I'm sure there's people staring at me, but don't care. And then it ends with Somewhere, Somehow, Someone, We Fight for Love. I don't know that song at all. It sounded like Andy singing it. I thought it was a really cool song. Not sure how I missed that one or what it is, so if somebody has an answer for that one somewhere along the line, I don't know. I missed it somewhere, but anyway, really cool song. I actually really like that song. But then we get to the live stuff, which I had to look up where this was recorded because it didn't really tell me much about it, but it was recorded at the Spectrum, I guess, in Philadelphia. In 1985, and this was after, was it after Live Aid? The same year as Live Aid. That would have been after Live Aid, because Live Aid, if I remember, was in July. I don't know. Oh yeah, I did forget to mention, making words, that there's a couple Live Aid stuff on here. And I remember watching Live Aid live when it was happening. The broadcast was everything. I didn't have cable, so I had to go to my friend's house and watch it, but they were playing it on the radio. Actually, some of the major stations were playing parts of it, but they weren't playing the whole thing. They cut out for news in the middle of it. During the news breaks, I had to run over to my friend's house, and we were both taping it on our VCRs and running back and forth to each other's house. Luckily, they were only a couple houses apart, but it was kind of funny. But I remember when Power Station came on, I'm like, who the heck is that singing? And I instantly recognized that it was Michael Desbarres, but I was like, what's going on? Where's Robert Palmer? But I was like, oh, that's Michael Desbarres. Or I'm probably saying his name wrong, but instantly recognized who it was. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is interesting. I'm still not having any clue what happened with Robert Palmer. I didn't understand that until years later, but that was pretty cool. So this brought back a few memories there, watching or listening to these songs from the Live Aid thing. So that was pretty cool too. But the Philadelphia thing I'd never heard before. And let me tell you, Michael does a great job singing. He definitely different style. He's got a lot more raspy voice. They don't really sound alike at all. So it's kind of interesting hearing what he did with Robert Palmer stuff, because Robert Palmer has a very unique, distinct style. I mean, I guess I would describe him as a stylistic type singer. So to take over him was probably impossible. So maybe I don't know why they picked him, Michael, that is. Maybe they just went for somebody that's completely different style, so they didn't seem like they were trying to find a copycat. Sometimes that's a smart thing to do. Sometimes it doesn't work at all, but I think it worked okay here. A lot of cover songs too, so I'm sure they did that because they didn't have a lot of songs of originals at this point in time. But the live versions of these songs I actually really liked. I mean, they're a tight band live. I really wish they would kind of stuck around a little bit longer. But some of the covers in here, like "Dancing in the Streets," definitely a unique twist to it. Made that their own. I love it when bands do that. Changed the arrangements up a little bit. The intros and stuff were a little different than some of the stuff. Too Good to Be Bad, that was a cool song. I wasn't really too familiar with that one either. And extra songs. Well, Harvest for the World's a cover song too. That's on their album. So even on their own album, they had a cover song. Thinking with Your Body Live, that was a cool, interesting thing. I remember when some guys have All the Luck kicked in. I wasn't looking at the song listing. That kicked in. I go, they're doing a Rod Stewart song. Sure enough, they are. So that was that was interesting. I actually like that version of the song. And then the cool little twist they did with communication where they throw the reflex in as well, doing a little Duran Duran stuff in there. Pretty sweet. The song White Light, White Heat I thought was a great, cool little thing to throw in there as well. The one really unexpected one here was their version of Obsession, and Andy's guitar intro to this was cool. I mean, I always kind of wondered what the song would sound like with a rock band playing it. I actually toyed with the idea of some of the bands I've been in with doing this song. So it was really cool hearing a band actually do it. So I really enjoyed that. Of course, they had to do Hungry Like the Wolf, a little bit more rocky than Duran Duran's, but Tony just keeps it so tight. It was just a cool, really cool thing. And then, like I said about weird intros, they did a cool little intro to Get It On. Ended with that song. Very cool. I know I said cool about 20 times, so if you're doing the drinking game where you take a shot every time I say cool, you're probably pretty hammered by now, but it's pretty cool. I don't know what else to say. Really enjoyed this. Loved it. It was fun going back in time because music is like a time machine, and just enjoying listening to this for pretty much the entire day yesterday. So didn't want to rush this one through. I wanted to give it a good listen through a couple different times, and I actually listened to CD4 probably about 3 times over, just right in a row. I just kept listening to it over and over. So it was really good. That's probably my favorite one out of the whole bunch was CD4. Just I don't know why, it just really struck me. But anyway, I'm letting this one go as long. But there's a lot to babble about here. So as I always ask, please comments what you think about this, what your experience with the Power Station is, what you guys thought of them. Love, hate, doesn't matter. It's just opinions. That's all any of this is at the end of the day. Either you like it or you don't. There's really no right or wrong. But they did have one more album after this, so it'll be interesting to see if they do anything with that. And maybe they will, maybe they won't. But until then, we'll see you.